Right, welcome back, listeners, for another edition of Heads Up, and welcome back, Money Shot. Now, last week we tipped out on the website that BT Junior was the bet of the day, and you were there watching the race, weren't you? And tell me, how did you feel at the 600 metre mark?
Well, a little bit worried at the 600 metre mark, be fair to say, Neil. I guess he got the shuffle up from being nicely positioned in the trail, going out of the straight the first time, and got shuffled back on the rail there. But I guess the key was Troy Harris never panicked in the ride, and when the gap did arrive eventually, after getting blocked for 100 metres or so, he flattened out nicely to pick them up quite comfortably really in the end. So good to see that you tipped them out to all your followers. The flock would have got paid plenty, and it was a nice rest of the day, to be fair. When you get that out of the way early in the day, you can relax and enjoy the rest of the day.
That's right.
And good to see not too many horses win 7 races, I guess. So he's going to carry on. He'll run next at Ruakaka on the 2nd of September, and then all things being equal, might head down to Riccarton again for and tilt at the New Zealand Cup.
Oh, that's good. No, he's and the way he pinned his ears back was really impressive. And as I remember Danielle saying at Tauranga after the race, she said he's still about 6 months away, so he's going to time it nicely for the Cup, hopefully, and get him on a nice weight. Be hard to beat. Our multi-winner, Georgina, had that in her multi into 2 of my better value bets during the day, but they didn't come off. But she got $13 back for her $20. Better than nothing, but she was happy that BT had won as well. So now Volpe Veloce, did you see her?
Now that was super impressive, wasn't it?
Jeez, I was there. Well, she was sweating up a bit before the start. You could see on TV over the neck. You think, well, she is quite fresh. She looked pretty strong and fit though. But no, she was just too good. Out in 38, home in 34, so it wasn't a hard run. What
did it pretty comfortably on the line, I thought, watching him live there.
Yeah.
Didn't really expend too much energy to put away that field. And so her next, she'll miss the Foxbridge and go straight to the Tarzino. Is that the plan?
That's the plan. They're going to space her races out nicely, and you think that's an ideal race for her. And I think if she, well, no matter where she draws, she's going to be up in the pace. And Coe, if he draws out wide, I think there's no way he can beat Volpe Veloce. You heard it first here.
No, I read it on Twitter earlier in the week from you.
I got it second here then there. Okay. And actually, out of that race, Elvicolo, his sectionals, and he was 3 wide all the way in the open, were better than Volpe Veloce's. Came home a faster last 600 and a faster last 200 metres, so he's third up next up. So maybe the Foxbridge Plate could be the race for him. Good run. And in the Winter Cup, we had Do I Know You topping off Platinum Command for the Chocolate Fish.
And that horse that was retired 6 months ago, if it had been Michael, won.
Yeah.
Nashville.
And it was 31s, I hear, when it opened in the Winter Cup too, a couple of months ago.
Amazing, eh?
Yeah.
He'll probably win again this weekend just to really rub our noses in it.
you think
but a very poignant win with the passing of Margaret Bull earlier, and she was a fantastic trainer of the 70s and the 80s and raced some very nice horses. Magnitude was one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
There's another one that went to Australia and won big mile too. That name escapes me. If someone can remember, they can text in.
Yep.
Let us know for next week. But yeah, so great to see that connection. And she trained the winner of the Winter Cup in 1980 with a horse called London Trader. So the family connection there, carrying on the legacy.
Yeah, that's terrific.
And a good ride too.
Yeah, and did you hear Walshy after the race mention that he walked the track with her the day before?
Well, he probably was riding in it just as hard as Kate Cowan was. no one better to learn the nuances of the Riccarton track, is there?
Oh, yeah, I walked him in probably half a dozen times, and remember one day there, he was pointing out parts. I thought, you got to be joking, but no, he was proved right about keeping away from the inside or the middle or the outside, so he knows those tracks inside out. He's great for those young riders too, helping Kate Cowan out and a lot of those younger riders. So we're in good hands, the young riders there in the country. Right, yeah, back with part 2 with the preview of the Steeples and Winter Classic, and I'll see if I can go for a hat trick in the Chocolate Fish. One.
Third day of the National Carnival at Riccarton, Neil, and the big feature feature race, of course, is the Racecourse Hotel 143rd running of the Grand National Steeplechase over the marathon 5,600 metre trip. Race 7 on the program. Got a dominant favourite, the Big Opal. Was a bit of a victim of circumstances in this race last year. Looking to make amends this year. Already got the Waikato Steeplechase to its name this season. For mine, looks very hard to beat, but I don't know if you're so convinced.
Yeah, I think I'll put him on top, but I'm not overly convinced at 190. And I see he was at 240 this morning after the first call. Thad Taylor put him at a 240 and with a limited liability. So I think all that must have been taken up because as at 2 o'clock this afternoon, he's back into 190. So be a few punters hoping he can win, but you know, it's that 5,600 metres. I've been to a few of those like you have, and it's that down the straight. They're calling for that free air pump and over those last two jumps, and I think he probably he can win, but there's horses like Chocolate Fish and Mr. Moore, High 40 Uppercut. They're all very capable stayers and jump well, so I think 190 is too short. But so you're keen on the Big Opal, are you? I think he's
I'm sticking with him. I was on him last year when, if you remember, he slipped at I think at the second of the kennels double down the back.
Yeah. And
that dislodged the irons for Matthew Gillies, and he managed to stay on until the last fence, with his fence at the top of the straight, and where he finally parted ways with the Big Opal. I don't think the extra distance will worry. He was pretty dominant. It was never looking like getting caught last week, and he'll just bowl along in front, and he'll be hard to beat. I thought Mr. Moore was probably the best weighted horse at 66.5. Gets in pretty nicely at the weights. He's been below his best, but you never know. He could surprise tomorrow in his 101st start even.
Yep, it's got to be hard. And if I was doing, I should have done them actually, the last 200 metres of that race. And I reckon the fastest last 200 metres would have been Chocolate Fishes and maybe Mr. Moore's. So actually,
Chocolate Fish, eh?
It's an apt name, I think. I'm keen.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Not head to head though.
I've been giving you lots of starts on horses that are much rougher than yours head to head, but I'll give you 11.75 lengths head start. The Big Opal will beat Chocolate Fish by at least 11.75 lengths.
Okay, and we can't confirm until I actually check the margin as well. So 11.7. That's a fair enough deal. I think it'll be. Is it a she or a he? Chocolate Fish. I think it's a he. Let's have a look. It's a he, 8-year-old bay. Yep. So no. Okay then, 11.75. I'll have you on there, and I'll see if the Chocolate Fish can get me 3 in a row. Paying $21. It was $34 earlier on, apparently.
Well, you must have had a bet, Neil.
No. Actually, I think we both backed the Big Opal last year, didn't we? And he came to the last fence, and I knew he had to jump that last fence, but he must have known, geez, I'm going to crash through this. But amazing.
Pretty hard to control a horse without any irons. Jumping races. No, it'll be a great spectacle, as will be the feature flat race on the last day of the carnival, the Christchurch Casino Winter Classic, 1,800 metres, and Nashville's come out of this race.
Yes.
So it's compressed the weights quite a bit, and our two protagonists from last week, Do I Know You and Platinum Command, go head to head again. Do I Know You, very good race in the Winter Cup, favourite for this, should be hard to beat. Up to 1,800 metres will definitely suit.
Yeah, you think so. That extra distance does help, and Platinum Command will be charging home again, but I think Do I Know You, Lisa All Press, get the trail, maybe could even lead, I don't know. The Goodowning will probably go forward and lead, but nice trail. Just depends on how the track is playing too, because third day, race 9, they may be swinging wider and suit a horse like Platinum Command, so maybe it's a wait and see drive, but Do I Know You and Platinum Command have to be topped up, don't they?
Yeah, I think so. Interesting move. I don't know if you noticed, Neil. The TAB Open odds on the Jockeys Premiership. All Press Open at 380 is already into 220. Quite a massive move. Right early in the piece for Lisa All Press. So those people that have climbed on early will be cheering home Do I Know You.
Definitely, I think 220. The 380 was good money, but injuries, suspensions all come into it, so maybe punters can look at covering with with other top riders like Matt Cameron, etc. later on. But
I thought the best them to win the Trainers' Premiership at $1.80. That's money for old rope, in my opinion. They've got about 30 more horses in work than they did this time last year. They've got all their... they'll have all their big guns firing. I know a lot of them will be going to Oz, but there'll be plenty that will be replacing them on the domestic scene. And if you're prepared to wait 12 months for a return on your investment, or throw it into a long-range multi, I think the Baker Forsman to win the Trainers' Premiership at $1.80, money for old rope. He heard it here first.
Yeah, too right. Okay, rightio. Back with part 3 with a review of the Crusaders final on Saturday night. Okay, back with part 3 with the sports, and I know it's painful to talk about sometimes with the Crusaders winning, but did you enjoy the game?
I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, Neil, but fair cop to them. They deserve to win.
Yeah.
I got a few text messages from listeners down in that part of the country rubbing it in, it'd be fair to say, and rightfully so. Well-deserved title to go travel the Indian Ocean and still put up a performance to win. Yep, there was a bit of good favour that went their way with that red card, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and well done to the Crusaders. Defied all those stats that we came up with last week.
Yep. And
were worthy winners of the title.
They sure were.
We did tip one winner though last week, if you remember, Neil. We did say the Knights would beat the Warriors, which they did. I guess anyone could beat the Warriors at the moment, but you'd be climbing on the Raiders again this week. I would say the Warriors are just in a downward spiral. I don't think they'll be able to break out of it this week, even back at home.
Yeah.
-7.5 Canberra, $1.82. Looks pretty good value to me. The coach come out and said players aren't trying, yet not a lot of changes to the team. So those players that aren't trying are still there. Seems strange.
Well, look at Isaac Luke, the way he played that ball at a crucial stage of the game. It was just a real sloppy play of the ball, and it's just amazing how much carelessness he showed at such a vital stage of the game. But I think he's been dropped, hasn't he, for this?
Oh, so he is. Oh, yes, he is too, Nathaniel Roach. So that's one change, but not huge changes based on what the coach was saying around how players weren't trying.
Actually, I was speaking. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, suggest there might be a bit of an issue within the ranks there between players and coach. Who knows?
Yeah. No, just aren't good enough. That's all. No, I think my brother was actually. I was talking to my brother during the week, who's still a Warriors fan, unfortunately, but he said that a bit of talk about the Warriors basing themselves in Sydney so they can train there and play their home games, obviously, travel back at Mount Smart, etc. I agree with it. It's you've got to access those class players and give them no excuse not to be part of the team. I don't think it'll happen, but there's only one way I can change.
Pretty costly, I would have thought. I don't know how that would work, but yeah, I understand the logic behind it. But yeah, interesting thinking out from outside the square.
Yeah. So the Canberra's -7.5.
Canberra -7.5, $1.82. I think that looks worth a bet. And the other big sporting event locally this weekend, Neil, is the Auckland Darts Masters.
Oh yeah.
TAB is sponsoring, so there'll be good coverage, no doubt, and good betting opportunities. But a lot of these players, they've been travelling quite a bit, so there's a lot of them are complaining about fatigue, etc. But based on his performance at Blackpool in the World Match Play, Phil Taylor was unbelievable. The way he disposed of Van Gerwen and then Wright in the final. So based on that form, 380, I know he's drawn to meet Wright in the semi-finals, whereas Anderson could get a pretty charmed run through to the final. But I'll stick with Phil Taylor to win the Darts Masters, $3.80. He hasn't won it yet, and he'll be keen to win it because this will be his last time to get his name on that trophy.
Yep.
So why not Phil Taylor to go out with a bang in Auckland and win his first Auckland Darts Masters, $3.80. Hard to see any of the Kiwis in round one upsetting. They're much more fancied opponents, but maybe Cody Harris, he'd be the best chance.
Oh, yeah.
You'd think he's playing Simon Whitlock.
Right.
So if you're wanting a bit of an outsider bet there, Cody Harris at 370. It's only first to 6, so I guess anything can happen in the shorter format of the game in this first round. So, but no, the main bet, Phil Taylor to win the overall competition at 380.
Rightio, sounds good. Okay, some 2 nice bets there, make a nice multi too. So we're on that. And back with part 4 with our Brickbats Bouquets multi of the week, or the question for the week as well, and our wind-up.
Part 4 now, listeners. Time to wrap up the program with a few Brickbats Bouquets, a multi question of the week, and other general matters of interest. Neil, I think you've got a brickbat relating to Riccarton.
Yep, we one of the greatest things about jumps racing is when they come to the end of the race and they're tired and they've got to jump that last fence and get over it and win the race. But you've got to weigh up these days, if the horse does fall, and a lot of horses do fall at the last fence because they're tired, obviously, and if anything happened, it's just not a good look for racing, is it? When a horse either breaks a leg or the jockey gets hurt or both. And in this day and age where people can take quick photos with their phones and it can spread like wildfire, I just can't see it lasting much longer, having that last jump in the Grand National. It's just...
You're saying that the last jump is too close to the finish and too close to the stands. It's at about the 150 metre mark, probably 120 metre mark, isn't it? Really?
It's very dramatic, but you've got to weigh up which is worth it. Do we have the cost of what could happen to the racing industry versus the drama? In
the old days, the last fence was always the carriage paddock at about the 400 metre mark. So
it was too, wasn't it?
Yeah. The animal welfare is definitely a huge issue that the industry needs to be very aware of. And yeah, I agree with you. It's the stand double, great to see the spectacle as they jump past the stands.
Yes.
They do that twice in the Grand National because it's basically 2 1/4 laps. But that last lap, why not take both fences of the stand double down and just have that carriage paddock at the 400 as the last fence? So if something did happen, it's hopefully far enough away that it isn't right in people's faces, so to speak. It'd be interesting to find out the logic behind that.
Yeah, and I heard at Te Rapa when that horse faltered after the winning post. Is it Nadir, I think?
Nadir, yeah. I think it was already... I think it had faltered prior to the winning post. It just collapsed after the winning post.
Oh, yeah. And apparently it wasn't too good, the sight that was seen afterwards.
No, unfortunately I don't think the right amount of medicine, shall we call it, was used in order to give the horse a peaceful ending, and that's what caused it to flip over and the like. So you're never a pretty sight, especially when those things happen within viewing of the general public. So it's something we've got to be very aware of, is to just be aware how that is perceived in the wider public, etc. I'll try and I'll give a positive relating to Riccarton last Saturday. My bouquet goes to race commentator Matt Cross. I think he was filling in at the last minute, I guess, for ill Mark McNamara. I think he did the trots on the Friday night. Riccarton on the Saturday, his calling was superb. And I thought too, the hosting of the first call on the Friday was superb as well. He's definitely a natural, and he'll go far.
Yeah.
And I thought the new format of the first call was good. The time frame is when it shows is still probably not brilliant, but the format where they're accountable for their bets and making a profit. I think perhaps, Neil, that the person that if you don't return a profit, you might have to stand down for a 10-week spell or something, so the pressure's right on you to perform.
No, it's good. That's what it's all about, making money. So,
lucky we don't have that on this show, Neil, and neither of us would be doing it.
It'd be a silent show, the sound of silence. Actually, go back to Matt Cross. As some listeners will know, I do the race reviews for the Gallops, and when a race caller calls the race, I note in shorthand where the horses are during the race, and he didn't make any errors last week, and they're at some of the big fields and on a big occasion, being called in. And he obviously learns his colours really well, because when a commentator doesn't learn his colours very well, it does show up. So he's only a young fella, and it's great to see these young guys like him and Tom Wood coming through and doing a top job. So yeah, well done, Matt Cross. Great for racing. Yeah. And the question for the week. Now last week it was pretty easy. Georgina and about 14 others, I think, or 10 others from memory, got it right with. What was the question?
Miss Three Stars winning the Winter Cup from 2016.
Yeah. On a scale of easiness, that was probably a 10 out of being an easy question to answer. What do you got for us this week?
Well, hopefully not too hard. If you've been paying attention, you should know the answer to this. If you're a jumps aficionado, you should definitely know the answer. So, Grand National tomorrow, run over the Riccarton Jumps course, and most of the offences there have names. And we've touched on the carriage paddock being that jump at the 400. Yeah. We want to know the name of the jump that's the one before the carriage paddock, which is about the 700 metre mark, something around there. The name of that fence, the 700 metre mark on the Riccarton Jumps course. Mm-hmm. Get the answers via text or email to Neil by 10 o'clock tonight, and he'll draw out a lucky winner.
Yep, 027 352 6402 or formpro@formpro.co.nz. By 10 p.m. tonight. I'll still be up, and I'll let you know either way just after 10 o'clock if my wife draws out your name, and you win the lucky. You
might need to buy her a new hat, Neil, because your hat must be getting worn by putting all these names in it every Friday night.
I use my old cheese cutter, and it well worked over, so it works quite well. So I can't see them, and she can't see them, so it works well. Okay, so that fence is the question, and don't forget, listeners, on Mondays we have the Form Pro ratings free to all for the gallops and when the gallops are on a Monday, and the greyhounds, and had a few queries about the sectionals, and they're really paying off. There's a dog that raced today that looked a sure thing with the sectionals, and that just won earlier on, so hopefully that information will be out to users in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Anything else you can mention? Not going to the darts in the weekend?
No. We're staying put this weekend. We had a few weekends away, Neil, so Good to just stay put. So the days are getting longer. Certainly it's not getting dark so early these days, so spring is just around the corner.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that obviously next week we'll see some more of the top quality horses step out to start their spring campaigns, along with Volpe Veloce from last week. So it's not far now. We're only 3 weeks away from the first of the Group 1s, the Tarzino Trophy, so spring's around the corner.
Yep.
And it's an exciting time to be a racing fan, isn't it?
You're too right, and with the lighter mornings, we can get out for our morning jogs and see where we're going now, can't we? So that's a bonus.
Exactly, Neil, exactly.
No, looking forward to next week, and Hastings, obviously. Just good racing, good horses too, aren't there? A lot of good horses coming out. Look at those trials and just quality horses. It's great to see, and can't wait. Anyway, good luck and good punting, and make plenty of money.